Hey, it's Lowry Smith of the CommanderSmiths here with Searching for the Spotlight, Hinata. We're going to do that today. So that should be some fun. We'll kill some time. We're streaming this right now. So we'll do so we have a weekly podcast that comes out on Wednesday if you want to check that out. It's on YouTube or wherever you want to download podcasts. We also do a couple of shorts a week. Adam, my partner in crime, does proxy time he streams that Sunday nights, which is pretty fun to kind of look at and see him work as magic. We also kind of have our own Discord for our patrons, which is a lively, awesome crew. We do anything and everything magic, anything that's kind of coming to our mind. So we don't have like a set thing that we do when it comes to the podcast or just whatever. We enjoy building decks, so we're going to build the decks that we want to do, and hopefully you find these enjoyable. And so, um, let's talk about Hinata real starting here quick. Okay, so Hinata Dawn Crowned, colorless blue, red, white. And it's a Kieran Spirit for 4 flying trample. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target, which is the awesome part of this. And then spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast for each target, which is not something that I plan on leaning into very much. And so we are going to be really, casting X spells that are able to target multiple things, and that makes them free. Um, and this is just like a happy byproduct, making auras more expensive, or spot removal is going to be more expensive for your opponents. And I think this is, I think at the beginning you're going to have a lot of people. Uh, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be doing X spells with damage. I'm going to try and avoid that. We'll still look at some of those cards, but I'm hoping to go for like tapping and bouncing, and hopefully we can get some cool stuff going on there. Um, so Hinata is going to be really powerful. We're going to go through a lot of spells that are going to be just very powerful when Hinata's in play, and maybe not so good out if it's out of play because X spells tend to be pretty expensive. All right, Gwen's saying she just doesn't want me stealing her taxing theme. I guarantee you, I am not. I won't be playing tax or stacks. So, but I invite you to still stick around. um, Paul's around because he's on a break at work, and I appreciate you here, friend. Um, so let's get into I broke this down by normally I think I just had it by CMC the last two, but now I'm going to be doing this by our ramp, draw, stuff like that. So let's go through some ramp ideas. Will Kenrith can reduce spells by 2. That can kind of help. It is 6 mana though, which can be kind of a lot. So I'm not going to be Mr. Dempsey's here to drink beer and eat snacks. I appreciate that as well. Um, this one's just kind of expensive, but it could be kind of fun. But I don't know. I'll probably just cut that out. Right. I'm just going to be throwing a ton of cards out there. Timeless Dragon. This is just something that I've wanted to play with and haven't had a chance. But plain cycling gets a land in your hand. It's eternalizing. I don't think that probably works right off the bat either. Proxy that Adam has done, Goldspan Dragon. The cool thing here, a little bit of a theme that I'm going for is heroic, where if you target your creatures, something good happens. Whatever, so if you target Goldspan Dragon, it's going to create a treasure. And that happens if anybody does it. So um, I think that's going to be really cool in here. That'll be a keep. Stormkiln Artist. You're casting spells and you're in red. You should be playing Stormkiln Artist. It's a fantastic card. Creating treasures, and it gets +1/+0. Core Cartographer. This is just an ETB. Gets a planes or a basic planes into play. Search your library for a plains card. Oh, it's not even a basic plains. So it's any type of plains at all. It's a sweet card. Stoic Farmer is just a different version of that with Fortell. Galazeth Prismari. This is if you have a bunch of artifacts. I don't know how many artifacts I'm actually going to have in here, but it'll allow you to help play spells. There is Sorcerer class that I need to get a hold of, and I think that would probably be much better in this deck. But Sorcerer class is a really, really sweet card, by the way. Prismari is cool. Solemn Simulacrum, that's just a proxy I found online. Verge Rangers, just being able to play off the top a little bit and maybe some ramp. It's a, it's a Jeskai deck. So you got to get your ramp where you can. Chromatic Lantern, you're going to want to, I think we're going to be able to, need to be able to play a lot of different, because colorless isn't a thing in this deck. It's because it's all free essentially. And so you're going to have very specific mana for your costs. And so we'll see. That's probably how it's going to work. Jessica's Will, just a little bit of draw, a little bit of ramp. It's a fantastic card, and I haven't even used it yet. So let's do that. Arceo's Mancer map that gets you lands. Pretty simple, straightforward. Brawl Chief of Compliance. This reduces instants and sorceries by 1. So kind of like a Hinata, but also I'm thinking of having like a counterspell, like bad counterspell sub theme in here a little bit. And so, you get that draw discard from this, but we'll see. I don't really like playing counterspells. Battlefield Thaumaturge, just a secondary Hinata, making sure that it works. Totally go for it. Knight of the White Orchid, ETB, get a planes into play if you're behind. Talisman of Progress, Azorius Signet, Talisman of Conviction, Boros Signet, Talisman of Creativity. Is it Signet? They all got a pretty good chance. I like to talismans over signets, and then we'll just see where it goes. Dockside Extortionist. We got that little CS logo. So Adam did this one. I always enjoy his work. Ornithopter of Paradise. It is an artifact. It is a flyer, and it adds mana. So it's a mana dork. That's pretty nice in this kind of deck. Arcane Signet. Sword of the Animist. You can equip it. You attack and put a basic land into play tapped from the library. It's a solid card. I might want Hearth and Home in here as well. I don't know if I have it in this list. Rate of Fire is kind of just an idea that allows me to dump a ton of mana in there if I want. I'm not, Mr. Dempsey, I do not want to play Power Sync. It is reduced by 1, but I'm not looking for bad counter spells. I'm looking for maybe you'll see what's going on, but like Trick Bind or Delay or Arcane that blue one. Well, I'm blanking. I don't even, I don't play counter spells enough, but so counter spells like that, not necessarily like only counter target spell. Not looking to do that. Rate of Fire is just a big mana bump just in case people are targeting Hinata, because I have a feeling that's going to happen. Springleaf Drum, maybe, and Soul Ring. So that would be the ramp package. Draw should be kind of cool. We have really it's Explosion. So this is targeting, you and any target. So that's reduced by 2 automatically in there. All right. Yeah. The Blaze of Fire is sweet. That is from the list or the mystery boosters. And I made sure to get on that real quick. So I probably picked that up for like $4 or $5 when it first came out. Now everybody knows that the list and mystery boosters, they just stay expensive and don't move around. So this is just reduced by 2. I just like Explosion a lot. It's a really cool card. So we'll see if that makes it. It's pretty cost intensive with the 4. Time Warp is target player makes an extra turn after this one. So it's a 4 mana extra turn, which is awesome. Beacon of Tomorrow, also target player takes an extra turn. So instead of 8, it's 7, which could be nice. And then Karn's Temporal Sundering, which is target player, takes an extra turn after this one. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent. So this is reduced by 2. And so that is a 4 mana extra turn that bounces something. It's going to be sweet. That probably makes it over the other two. Recurring Insight. Um, this is just draw cards equal to the number of cards in target opponent's hand. So that'll be reduced by 1, and it's a draw spell. It should be pretty cool. Sunbirds Invocation. Now, this is in here because whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library. Hold on. Spell one last. Okay, so. Oh, man. I was thinking that the spell being cast is really big. What's the CMC on the stack if you're reducing it by 1? I'm actually going to have to figure that out. I was thinking that it was. So, like, if I'm tapping down 6 creatures and it's, 7, or, it'd be like 2 with X being 5. That's 7. I can see that happening. But if it's reduced by 1, cards in your library where X is the spell's mana value. I don't know. What would, okay, question for streamers or for the people watching. Is the mana value reduced? And so, like, it only be, let's go back to this. Is the mana value only 4 on this, or is it still 6 when it's on the stack? I think it's still 6 on the stack. Shit. I should have figured that out beforehand. I didn't think about that. But I think this could work. We'll probably keep this in until I figure it out next time in part 2. But we'll see what it is. I really like it. So yeah. Stormwing Entity. If you cast a spell, it's just a blue and a colorless, and it's a 3/3 flying prowess. And then you scry 2 on ETBs. It's just something that I just kind of got, and it was like, oh, I'm casting spells. It can really reduce this. Might be copying some stuff and blinking some stuff, so this might be nice. Archmage Emeritus. If you're casting spells and you're in blue, you should be running this. All right, let's see if somebody. Yeah, 6. But you're paying less, right? Yeah. So I'd be paying less. On Sunbird's Invocation, it goes by the mana value and on the card, not what you paid. Yes. That is what I would agree with. Yes, the mana value is equal to the CMC as cast. The reduction on cost doesn't change the CMC, only how much mana you have put into the card. Okay, yeah. So just like with Vile Smasher, Cyclonic Rift does 2, even if you overload it. I think overload is different though, because that's not part of the CMC. When you're paying 6 into an X spell, that X turns into whatever you're paying. I'll probably still try and like get a judge, talk with a judge on that. But either way, I think it could be kind of cool because it could be casting huge spells. Deep Analysis is a draw spell that targets a player. So instead of 4 mana, it's 3 mana, and then it's blue and 3 life to draw 2 extra cards with the flashback. Thought that's kind of cool. Whirlwind of Thought is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Maybe not. I like Burning Prophet in my Spell Slinger decks with red. It scries you 1 and it gets +1/+0. Essentially, kind of that. So Feather is going to be awesome because I'm hoping to target my stuff like with a heroic stuff going on, and then I get those spells back instead of having them go to the graveyard. So hopefully that works big time. All right. Yeah. Overload is an alternative cost. Yes, I agree. Yep. Just was using no. Okay. Spell Seeker. You got a lot of X spells that are kind of at 2. So like an example, something like Open into Wonder. That's 2 when it's in your library. So Spell Seeker could be really cool instead of just going and getting Cyclonic Rift, because I'm actually not planning on running that in this deck either. Welcoming Vampire. I'm thinking there's going to be a tokens deck, so this is just going to draw me a card. Should be cool. Mentor of the Meek, same thing, same idea. Verity Circle. This is a bonkers card in here. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you may draw a card. I might be able to draw like 15 cards off this. So it should be pretty fun. Storm Chaser Drake. Draw a card when you target it. Idol of Oblivion. Probably a token deck, so tapping and drawing cards. Sway of Illusion. Any number of target creatures become the color of your choice until end of turn. Draw a card. It's only going to get reduced by 1, but it could be cool with Orvar. We'll see. And then top. Uh, Dempsey likes the idea of Spellseeker as well. So I think that's cool. I don't really like running a ton of tutors, so we'll see if that's something that's going to make it. So this is my removal package. You can see that it's thick. Oh, I should be saying I have like 200 cards, over 200 cards sitting here. We're going to go through. We're probably through a portion of it at this point, but my goal is that I don't want to actually be destroying people's creatures. I'll probably add that in later, but I want to avoid that just because that's how a lot of Hinata decks are going to be. This card is going to be curated on Friday, so I'll quick go over that. Thick package. Gross. So this one is actually an interesting card here. So Volcanic Offering has the potential to have 4 different targets, which would make it at red. And it deals 7 damage or destroy target non-basic, destroy target non-basic of an opponent's choice, and 7 damage to a creature, and 7 damage to a creature of an opponent's choice. Now, if your opponent chooses the same creature you do, it doesn't get reduced. So as much. It would still get your 2 choices, but then theirs are not different choices. So it'd still be at like 3 mana instead of 1 or 5. And so that's going to be tomorrow's curated. And then I'll go into a little bit more depth. Kind of gets weird. And also, when you're choosing targets, you do that before you're like paying any costs. There's a lot of stuff that actually happens before you get to actually cast the spell onto the stack. And it's been a little interesting to look at. But okay. Curse of the Swine is blue, blue X. So blue, blue, exile all your opponent's creatures. They get 2/2 boars. It's going to be real good. Indomitable Creativity is red, red, red. And exile everybody's, destroy X target artifacts and or creatures. And then they get to Chaos Warp them essentially, or Pongify. Not Pongify. What the hell was that one? But whatever. Could be cool. Probably not going to run it just because of the destroying thing. Comet Storm is free multi-kicker. Red, red. Pay as much into the X as you can, and then free multi-kicker on everything. That's going to be pretty big. Mass Manipulation. This is just stealing. This could be a stealing deck, right? I think this is my example. I'm not going to run this. But stealing auras, you have instants and sorceries that target opponent's creatures that would be reduced by 1. That could be kind of a fun way. If you're a dickhead, it's a fun way to have a different kind of Hinata deck, but I'm not going to be running any of that kind of stuff. Another dickhead move, Volcanic Eruption. This is blue, 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 destroy X target mountains. Now, if I wanted to run Blood Moon in this deck, I could do that, and then it'd just be free to destroy everybody's mountains. That could be sick. I'm not going to do that, but it's an idea for you. Distorting Wake. Is blue, blue, blue with Hinata in play, and then return everybody's creatures. So it's a one-sided Cyclonic Rift, but it's sorcery speed. I guess it's only non-land permanent. So everything but lands. This is going to be sick. That's going to be crazy. So that one's being run by Force. This is already a curated, but it's red and destroy all artifacts. I will be playing this. So destroying creatures, I want to avoid not destroying artifacts or enchantments and stuff like that. Gridlock is blue. Tap everybody's non-land permanents. It's going to be sweet. Glimpse of the Sun God. It's white. Tap X target creatures and scry 1. You get to do that. Aurelia's Fury is red-white. Deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. Tap each creature dealt damage this way. Players dealt damage this way can't cast non-creature spells this turn. All right, let's talk a little bit. This is kind of an exception. Like, it's tapping creatures down. I don't need to pay a ton into it, but I could if I wanted to and destroy some creatures. But the reason why I want to go tap and then be able to still target my own creatures is because what I can do mid-combat before they choose blockers, I can attack, all-out attack, right? And then I can cast something like Aurelius Fury to tap down all of their creatures and target my own creatures if I had a Feather or Arvar or Heroic in it, and get those triggers. And so I can do that before they block, but after I attack, and it doesn't matter if my creature's tapped because it's already tapped and attacking. So that's kind of a little bit of where I'm going to be playing in, and we'll see if that works. Hopefully, we have enough tappability in here, but something like Aurelius Fury is going to be pretty cool. Disorder in the Court is going to exile a ton of creatures, and then they can come back, make a bunch of what is that? Treasures? No, it's clues. Yeah. So happy to play or look for that. Heliod's Intervention. Is going to be destroying all artifacts and enchantments for white for your opponents. It's really good. This is going to be creature removal, kind of. So Jaya's immolating Inferno. Garrett's Belligerence, red. Deal X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures, and then you can populate for each creature that dies. Selective Snare, return X target creatures of the creature's creature type of the choice to their owner's hand. So it's just a bounce spell for free, basically. Blue, if somebody's running goblins, you wreck them. Reality Spasm is choose one, tap or untap X target permanents. It's going to be sweet. And that's a foily. It's beautiful. Icy Blast is a tapper for blue. That works. March of the Swirling Mist, one of my better cards that I open against Adam, but that's phasing for blue. You can phase out all the creatures that you want. Dismiss into Dream is a sweet card here, but downfall, just showing it to you. Each creature your opponents control is an illusion in addition to its other types and has, when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. And so this is kind of creature removal that I'm not going to put in, but with all of these free target with taps, I could just be destroying them. Kind of a fun card. Magma Opus is reduced by a lot. So it deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Tap 2 target permanents. So no matter what, it's going to be reduced by 2, and then it could be reduced by 4 if you want to spread out the damage. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then it creates a token, token, and then you draw 2 cards. So this could be technically cast for a red and a blue, create a token, draw 2 cards, and then you're tapping 2 permanents. It does a lot. So it's kind of a cool card. No, not kind of. It's a very cool card. All right. Let's see. Am I falling behind? Where's Burrow's Charm? I hope it's in here. It might not be. But it probably is. That's what she said. Yep, I don't know when I said that at this point, which she never said. She does never say that. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. All right, Divergent Transformations. So this can exile 2 target creatures, and it is reduced for each opponent you have. So you can, if you have 3 and then 2 targets, this is red, colorless, and it's 2 Chaos Warps. So that's pretty cool. Blatant Thievery is just reduced by for each opponent, gain control of target permanent that player controls. So you can reduce that by 3. So it's blue, 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 colorless, gain 1 thing from each opponent. That's pretty good. Rose Charm is not bad, Adam. You are wrong. This one I might be willing to keep, but I'll probably end up cutting that pretty quick. Thieving, people don't like thieving. Volcanic Wind. That's a foily. That's beautiful. Old school. Volcanic Wind deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures, where X is the number of creatures in play. And so it's going to be red, deal damage to as many, it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. And I'm not going to run it because it destroys creatures. This is one I am willing to make an exception for. Descent of the Dragons. It's going to be red, destroy any number of target creatures, which can be your own. For each creature destroyed this way, its controller puts a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. So I think that's going to be really cool. I want to do that. Sublime Epiphany has a lot of targets, has a lot of things you can do, but really what you could do is like blue, counter target spell, counter target activated or triggered ability, Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Target player draws a card. So that's each one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of them target. So if you're doing three things, that's going to reduce it down to blue colorless. That's probably the most likely thing you're going to do because you're going to draw a card, create a copy, and one of these you probably bounce and target. So you'll be able to get blue. It's going to be insane. It's insane. Brawl's expertise, bouncing 3 for blue, and then playing a spell for free that's 4 or less. Yes, please. Mystic Confluence has a lot of targets as well. This doesn't draw a target, but if you're bouncing, like counter, bounce, that's blue. That's a lot of value right there. Aether Gale is going to be blue. Return 6 target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. Totally worth it. Fractured Identity is exile target. I mean, this one's going to just be for doing its thing. It makes it a little bit better. I haven't played it. I'm just going to get rid of it right now. I'm just going to get rid of it. Cowardice. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, return that creature to its owner's hand. So, if you have those tappers, it's actually going to bounce them, stuff like that. So, and it's very pretty. Very pretty. Signed by the artist. Crush Contraband is white, colorless, exile an artifact and an enchantment at instant speed. Totally nice. Return to Dust is white, exile an artifact or enchantment and/or. Fiery Confluence has some really good value with destroying target artifacts. The other two are just kind of removing. So we'll see if that makes it, but it'll be in there. Brutal Expulsion is red-blue. Bounce a spell and 2 damage divided as you choose. This one's probably kind of weak, but it's cool. Mythos of Vadroc deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. If white, blue was spent to cast a spell, until your next turn, those permanents can't attack or block, and their activated abilities can't be activated. So more than likely, you're just going red, dividing 5 damage. That's fairly solid. So, Nibelus of Frost is just prowess and tapping stuff down whenever you cast a spell. So that fits in the theme that I'm aiming for. Sudden Substitution has 2 targets, so it's blue, split second, exchange control of target non-creature spell and target creature. And that spell's controller may choose new targets for it. So probably a little wild. Wrong Turn is targeting 2 creatures, so you're swapping 2 creatures for blue at instant speed. It could be a fun card. It's a little wonky. I don't know if I'll play that. Decoy Gambit is blue. Bounce a creature for each player you have, and if they don't want to, you draw a card. Those choices are always kind of hard, but could be a fun card in there. Collective Defiance, it has Escalate, which goes into the mana value of the card, so that's essentially free for each target. Deals 3 damage to target opponent, 4 damage to target creature, and target player. So they're all essentially free. So it's red, do all that. Good value. Oh, you liking my foils, huh, Nick? Yeah. Harness by Force. Strive is a good way to be able to target a bunch of creatures, and that's all reduced. It's a little overcosted, but for the most part, so we'll see which ones actually make it. But Strive is a thing, and this one, steals creatures. Gain control of. Yep. So that one steals creatures. We'll see. Wear and Tear is just nice removal. It's going to be red and a white, destroy target artifact and enchantment. Electrolyze is reduced by 1. We'll see if that makes it. Actually, I'm just going to cut it. I don't think it makes it. Carry Zev's Expertise. I think this was also one that I was saying, like, I just want to make sure that I was showing that that stuff could be stolen. We'll get rid of that. Forsake the Worldly. This is a Stump the Smith Savant that got me. It's one of our games on the podcast. But Adam reads me the flavor text, and I try and guess the card. And Renshai knows that it doesn't happen often. Exile target artifact or enchantment, has cycling. It's just a target. It's removal. Cloud Chaser Kestrel. It ETBs and destroys a creature, but you can target permanents becomes white. So with what was that card? Doo, 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 doo. So something like Cowardice or that Into Dreams, I'm constantly able to target if I so wish with the Kestrel, and so can control the board that way as well. And also ETBs destroys an enchantment. If I can copy it or blink it, kind of does that stuff a little bit more too. Storm Conduit might be a good include if you're going Spellslinger route. Um, we'll see. Oh, it's saying that my connection's a little rough right now, so hopefully that kind of gets figured out. Blessed Alliance is an escalate again. Target untap 2 target creatures, and target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature, so that can and target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature, so that can reduce escalate cost by quite a bit. Could could be cool. Snap is basically rampant here. It's blue, untap 2 cards, bounce a card. The Avacyn's Judgment. This is one of those burn spells. I'm not going to run it, so we'll get rid of that. A Braid is destroy an artifact or 3 damage. Could be all right. That'll be okay. Cleansing Wildfire would be red, destroy target land, draw a card. Could be all right. Yeah, we'll see. Livewire Lash, whenever this equipped creature gets targeted, it deals 2 damage. It is an all-star in Feather. Here, it might not be so much because I'm not casting as many spells, I think, but we'll still have it there because it kind of gives it that heroic ability. Shenanigans is repeatable artifact removal at red and dredges. It should be sweet. Fumble's a nice bounce spell that can get you stealing ores and equipment. And here's another thought right here is adventure cards are kind of overcosted, but a lot of them are removal or a combat trick. And so reducing it by 1 could be a fun little adventure deck. I'm probably not going to do adventure themed or anything, so I'll get rid of that real quick. Let's see here. All right. Open into Wonder. Which one is this one? Is this my this is kind of my protection. This is kind of my yeah, this is my protection package. So Open into Wonder is blue blue. All my creatures are unblockable, and when they deal damage, draw a card. That's gonna be sweet. It's going in. Outmaneuver is X target blocked creatures deal combat damage to defending player instead of blocking creatures this turn. So it's one that kind of targets your own creatures on purpose. X target creatures gain protection from the single color of your choice until end of turn. Saves you from burn spells or being able to get through from certain colors. Angelic Guardian gives your creatures indestructible when they attack, which could be nice. Will Breaker is going to be maybe the steel card that makes it in here. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes the target of a spell or ability you control, gain control of that creature for as long as you control Willbender. You're stealing everybody's creatures in this deck. You got it. Don't worry about it. You just won. Tygam makes sure that your spells don't get countered. I don't know how much I'm worried about that, but Rebound could be nice. Well, the Rebound doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll cut that right away. Bastion Protector makes sure that Hinata is going to be indestructible. Could work. Could be nice. Fellstone Amulet. I always like this in a Spellslinger deck, or at least considering it. But whenever you play a spell, creatures you control gain hexproof. So, essentially, yep, hexproof. Thunderstaff is just kind of a cool card. This is in here. It reduces any damage from creatures. Would deal 1 damage for each creature. But then the pump. Some of the cards that have heroic, I'm hoping, are kind of like this, the +1/+0. So, and I like this card. It's kind of a different type of Ghostly Prison a little bit. Frontline Medic is if you attack with 2 other creatures, all your attacking creatures get indestructible. Maybe just all of them. But Spellskite, Secret Lair, great protection. Apostle's Blessing. This could be a free card because target artifact or creature you control gains protection. So reduce by 1, pay 2 life, protect something if it's being targeted. Could be cool. Oh shit, there's Boros Charm. Got you guys. There we go. Uh-oh. Are you guys still there? Am I getting fucked? Okay. All right. Adam just okay. So Boris Charm was there. I was my computer's saying that I got a bad connection. So Lightning Greaves is good. Swiftfoot Boots is good. Mother of Ruins and Giver of Ruins. Just thinking about protection. I love this art for some reason. So should be cool. Cloud of the Dominus. This one gives Shroud and Haste. The other two I like as auras. So there's like a whole cycle from Eventide and Shadowmoor and stuff like that. So this one I don't like as much. So I'm just going to cut that. This is that Strive. Any number of target creatures can't block this turn. I'll still keep it in there because it's cheap and I can still target my own creatures and they can't block or whatever. That doesn't matter. But it doesn't get any reduction. And then another Strive, giving indestructible and +1/+1. It's still expensive, but could be all right. All right. Let's see here. Broke because of how bad Boros is compared. All right, so we got a little thing about Boros Charm and Heroic Intervention. Obviously, Intervention is not good enough for this deck right here, so it doesn't matter. So, what is this package right here? This is my token package. And so release the gremlins is XX, but it is reduced for each target that you're doing, and then you're getting a bunch of tokens. I like pest infestation, and so this isn't as good, but it's still really good. I think we'll see. We'll see in here. So Healy's Artistry is going to be reduced by 2, so you're copying a creature and an artifact. Could be cool. Shark Typhoon is making, I think, potentially a large XX token. I believe so. So Evangel of Heliod is going to create a bunch of 1/1s for each white pip that you got going on. Docent of Perfection creates a 1/1 for each instant or sorcery that you're casting. So Meat Forcing, this is going to be the Meat Force right here. So Dika is going to create a huge token if the X spell thing works. So I'll make sure, and if you check out part 2, then I'll know. No. Assemble the Legion, just another token maker. Riona Fire Dancer, making tokens of copies of another target creature you control. For each spell that you cast before this, they gain haste and then exile them. Could be a kind of a cool card in here. Orvar, creating a lot of tokens if you're able to target your own stuff. So happy about that. Got Eternal Kefnet. This is just getting kind of like free spells off the top. We'll see if that works. It might just be too fat. This is Polymorphous. Polymorph was the card that I was looking for earlier, but has Strive. Choose a creature on the battlefield. Any number of target creatures you control each become a copy of that creature until end of turn. So might be okay, might be not. Twin Flame creates tokens with Strive. Divine Visitation. So if my tokens are coming out bigger, I'm not going to worry about this, but if they end up coming out smaller, I will. And if it's a mix, I'll cut it as well. Militant Angel, ETBs, create 2/2s. Angel of Invention, when that ETBs, you fabricate, create 2 tokens. This is just kind of like the token idea, and then it's also an anthem, which is kind of nice. This creates 1/1s for each white pip that you have in play. Metallurgic Summon. Eventually, hopefully that's what we're going for. Arming Mystic creates small for each instant or sorcery. Keeper of the Cord is just making sure that I'm keeping up, but I have a feeling this one will get cut. I have a feeling. because it's not. This is going to be a token heavy deck. I'm assuming. Zafai, Adam's probably having a hemorrhage right now because this card can do a lot of damage. Maybe doing 10 damage. We'll see about that, but it could be a fun one. Kaikar is making spirits. Anointed Procession. This is going in no matter what. This is doubling the amount of tokens when they're being made. Totally worth it. Springjack Shepherd gets 01 goats for each white pip that you have. Leonin War Leader, when it attacks, create 2/1/1s. This is probably really good in that Ishin red-white attacking deck, red-white-black one, but it's in here as well. Hero of Bladehold, also same thing, creating tokens and a pump. Master Waves, ETBs, makes tokens for each blue pip. Talrand is creating 2/2 drakes for each instant or sorcery you're casting. Maniform Hellkite is creating huge dragons if it's working the way I want it to work, and they have haste and they get exiled, so it could be cool. A Monastery Mentor is creating 1/1s for each spell. Call the Copper Coats. So this actually target opponent, and so that's 2, and then strive for a white and a white. This is super efficient in creating a ton of tokens. This card's really good in here. Goblin Slide, I think it's already real bad. I'm not even going to talk about it. Saheeli creates a 1/1 colorless token for each instant or sorcery. Nope, non-creature spell you cast. Adeline creates a bunch of tokens when it attacks. Young Pyromancer creates tokens when you cast it. Launch the Fleet is white, and then attack with everything and create a bunch of 1/1s. It's going to be cool. And then a Crowan Crusader is the first heroic card that I think had come up. So you target it, create a 1/1 token. We'll see if that makes it. But I think all those could be pretty cool. All right, yeah. I knew Adam was Zavai just makes the game go so long, but it's not my commander, right? My turns will not take 45 minutes. What are you talking about? I am the fastest player in the game. I don't know what you're talking about. So, Morog, Fury of the Crow, Akum. This is landfall, take an extra combat step, and then it gets +1/+0 for each time it is attacked this turn. And I think there could be extra turns or extra combats rather than extra turns, but we'll see. We'll see if it works. Heroes of the Revel. So which one is this? Which one is this? Oh, that. Yeah, whatever. All right. Morog shouldn't have probably been in that pile, but this is going to be the heroic pile. And I'm going to cut stuff that I kind of just don't think is going to make it. But this one creates tokens and gives +1/+0. +1/+0 seems to be a thing. That's what she said. All right. All right. So I think this will make it. It is a little expensive, but Heroes of the Revel could be interesting. A Crowan Conscriptor, that's going to heroic steal a creature. Bringer Charioteers, whenever it is targeted, put a 1/1 counter on it. I have a feeling there's a theme of counters on it. I don't want that because I do want to be blinking and stuff like that. And I don't think that part not affecting the board is going to work. So I'm going to cut it right away. Whenever you cast a spell that targets creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's what I'm looking for. So all of my creatures get +1/+0 when it's targeted. That's probably worth it in a token strategy. This one's Scry's 1. That's not worth it. 2 damage to target creature or player. Heroic. Maybe. Whenever you cast a spell, you may tap a creature. That's totally on theme. Heroic, 1/1 counter on it. We will cut that right off the bat. Triton Fortune Hunter is heroic, draw a card. We'll keep that. Tethmos High Priest, heroic, resurrect a creature or 2 or less. We'll keep that for now. Hero of Nyxborn, essentially heroic. When it ETBs 1/1, and then if you heroic it, +1/+0 creatures you control. So that's on theme at least. Cheap heroic +1/+0 for all the creatures. That's on theme. Wave Crasher, heroic, whenever you cast a spell that targets it, target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its so it's tapping. That works for me. This is a 1/1 counter on it, so we'll cut that. Fabled Hero is double strike. Put a counter on it. I might keep this one, and I might actually add in that chariot or that other one too, since it's a rare. They're probably powerful enough. Maybe. I already had that one. Cut. All right. Annex and Cymide, 1/1, and all trample for all my creatures. So that's on theme. Phalanx puts a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. That works for me. Vanguard of Brimaz is heroic 1/1 token. Works. Uh, Whenever it's targeted, it gets +2. It could block, cheap, worth a shot. Um, this is heroic. One of their creatures can't block, so that could be worth it. It's cheap. I think I'm going to cut it right off the bat. Actually, 1/1 counter on it. Scry. I doubt I'm going to be able to scry early, and that's probably why I'm just going to cut Battlewise Hoplite. Hero of the Pride, heroic +1/+0 for all your creatures. That's worth it. Like I was saying, Sage of Hours puts tokens on it. That's worth it. Extra turns. 10th District Legionnaire is 1/1 counter on it and scry 1. I just said that probably won't work, so I'm going to get rid of that. Leonin Light Scribe, essentially heroic. All my creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn. But this is whenever I cast or copy an instant. So that could be cool. Hero of Iroas is or spells cost 1 less. I don't think it fits in here. And 1/1 counter on it. We'll cut that right off the bat. Favorite Hoplite, also 1/1 counter on it with a heroic. We will cut that. I'm not going to say that. The Trailblazer, 1/1 counter on it. And we'll cut that. And then Satyr Hoplite, also a 1/1 counter on it with heroic. We'll cut that. So a lot of heroic just kind of went away, but there's still enough to kind of choose from that are doing kind of what I want. All right. All right. All right. Finale of Promise. So this is going to be kind of like the graveyard recursion section. So Finale of Promise, it's only going to get reduced by 2. We'll keep it in there. Actually, I think I have enough choices and chances here that we're gonna cut that right away. I don't even need to talk about it. Dance of the Mance. Each creature you're bringing, or each enchantment or artifact you would be targeting in your graveyard is reduced by 1, and then that can bring back a lot of artifacts and enchantments. So, totally worth having around. Return to the Ranks can bring back X amount of creatures for 2 or less. Could be worth it. I'd have to look at my curve at this point, but we'll see. Charm Breaker Devils brings back a instant or sorcery randomly, and whenever you cast one, this gets +4/+0. This might be worth it, just being able to get those X spells back and forth. Spell Twine. Exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard and target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. Copy those cards, cast the copies of the. So it's reduced by 2. So this is 4 mana to do that. I have a lot of X spells, and the X spell wouldn't do anything because of this, because it's 0. Probably just cut. Mnemonic Wall, getting instant sorceries back into my hand when it ETBs. Same thing with Is It Chronarch. Let's make sure that we Archaeomancer, ETB, bring an instant or sorcery back. Is there anything else in here? All right. Backdraft Hellkite, being able to, when it attacks, flashback for those instant sorceries. And so I can still instant speed tap stuff down or bounce stuff or whatever needs to happen. That could be worth it. I love this card. It's so good. Disciple of the Ring. I'm able to exile an instant or sorcery to kind of do some of its things. I tap or untap. Counter target non-creature spell. I don't think that's worth it at 5. We'll cut that. Reconstruct History. It targets an artifact. It targets an enchantment. It targets an instant. It targets a sorcery. It targets a planeswalker. So this is going to be red, white for a ton of card advantage. This should be a cool card. Savine's Reclamation targets. Might not be worth it. We'll see where we're at. Bloodwater Entity. When it ETBs, put an instant or sorcery on top of my library from the graveyard. Might be worth it. Has prowess. It's pretty cheap. I could be happy with that. Mivinda, Student's Advocate. This is also an all-star in Feather, but essentially you can pay 0 to cast target instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more. Actually, I'm going to have to rethink about that too, because you're paying 0. I don't know if I'd be able to pay. I'll have to check on that. I'll have to check on that. That is a good question. Didn't think about it. Lore Drakus. You mutate it, and then you get a instant or sorcery from your graveyard into your hand. And this is one of my favorite arts ever. This thing looks phenomenal, in my opinion. And good art gets me playing the card. And Snapcaster Mage, just being able to. This is art I pulled off of Google a while back. Adam needs to make a proxy of this one. But should work in here too. All right. Looking good now. This looks like it'll be fun. Gotta go. He's working. He's working. He's a worker. He's nice. See you, Adam. All right. So, and this is just going to be random. Oh, and I'm going to be doing the full art foils on this one because they look gorgeous. Those will be my basics. I always run 12 basics. I'll be running 38 lands in this. That's kind of just my rule that I want to do. I always like having 12 basics, and then I work from there. So we'll see. So Immortal Sun reduces my spell by 1, kind of on theme, and then +1/+1, which is kind of on theme. You get to draw an extra card, which is kind of on theme. And I don't have any Planeswalkers in here, so it doesn't hurt me. Overall, the Immortal Sun could be fun. Grand Arbiter Augustine, don't worry about it. This isn't a stacks deck, but it does reduce by 1 or 2, and having them pay 1 more. I'm not gonna pile on, but I do want to use this card somewhere, and it feels like this will work somewhere. Kasmina increases spells by 2 if they target me, and then you can create a token and then draw a discard a card. This might be worth it, Kasmina. Unsettled Mariner, spells cost 1 more to target your stuff. So kind of worth it when it comes to targeting your stuff. I'm not really looking to get rid of everybody's stuff. Tithe Taker, things cost 1 more on your turn. Afterlife token. Embercleave, Adam just used this too, but I would like to also play it. And so if I'm getting a lot of tokens out and then Embercleave becomes red, I'd be happy. And Hinata turning into 5/5 double strike that already has flying and trample seems good. Seems good. Seal of the Godhead will go in because it is reduced by 1 as an aura, and it gives Hinata +2/+2 unblockable on lifelink. That's going in. Scourge of the Nobilis is gives it +2/+2, fire breathing, and lifelink, which also seems good. Fear's Enlightenment, it gives flying, a 1/1 counter. I'm going to cut that right now. That's an aura. But so another thing, Bestow, if you ever wanted to play a Bestow deck, it does reduce that cost by 1. And just making a creature huge for cheaper could be fun. We'll see. We'll see. That one might go away. Dusk Corona. This is whenever you have 1 red aura, enchant creature gets +2/+0, can't be blocked by creatures with flying. And so I think I got rid of Hinata somewhere. Oh shit. Hinata has flying. Creatures blocked by creatures with flying. And so it's unblockable essentially for 1 red, and it gets a nice bump. So I always consider it. We'll see where it goes. Psychotic Fury. Hinata's going to have double strike and draw a card for 1 red. Probably worth it. If I am a token deck, I will highly consider, let's see here, Impact Tremors and Perforos, but I've had those decks before. I don't need them. So they might be easy cuts at the beginning, but I'll keep them for a bit. Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage whenever you cost an instant or sorcery. And this is already kind of my feather deck, so I think I'd rather have the tokens instead of the damage. I think I might just get rid of the damage ones. I might go through Firebrand Archer is also another one of those surround damage. Electrostatic Field is surround damage. Thermal Alchemist is surround damage. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I'll just cut those right off the bat. Making decks different is important to me. So red, 4 damage to target player. And it comes back into my hand if I'm lowest life. Pulse of the Forge. I always like the pulses. They're fun, but probably not in this deck. Curse of the Shaken Faith. So auras, curses could be a curse deck. Could be a curse deck because it would cost 1 less, but we aren't. So we'll probably just get rid of that. I do think we're going to be attacking a lot, so protecting my creatures that are attacking, I want to have happen. So Iroas is going to make sure that my creatures live. Bubble Matrix, all damage dealt to creatures is reduced to 0, and so creatures blocking or blocked don't have to worry about that. I'm also not doing surround damage or blasphemous act or any of that kind of stuff, and so I'm not worried about my wraths not working. And so, it could be a cool card. I like it. Audric controls combat. If I am attacking a lot, this is something that's going to be nice. Loyal Unicorn is preventing all combat damage. At the beginning, if you control your commander, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to creatures you control this turn. Yeah. And then they gain vigilance as well. So, could be interesting. Depends on how much there. Dolmen Gate, kind of the same effect. Wild Ricochet has 2 targets, so it's red. You may choose target new targets for target instant or sorcerer spell, then copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. It just feels like a tongue twister. I'm just going to cut it. I don't want to read that over. Come on. Disallows a counter spell, activated ability, target spell, triggered ability. It's a flexible one. It does more than just counter a spell. Whirlwind Denial. So if there's 2 things you can counter, it's just going to be blue, and you're going to be able to essentially counter a ton of stuff. Remand is a weird counter. We'll see. It's just blue, counter spell. They get it back. You draw a card. Tail's End is another one. Just blue, counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or legendary spell. Arcane Denial is counter spell, but you draw a card. It's just a blue. Delay is, you know, not a good counter spell either, but it's blue. I mean, it's good enough. It's good enough. But it puts a delay counter on their stuff. Trick Bind is countering target activated or triggered ability. Could be worth it. Getting into some of the blink stuff. Illusionist Stratagem. Exile 2 target creatures you control and return them to the battlefield under their owner's control. Draw a card, and that's 2 targets. So as blue colorless, do that. Probably worth it. Paradoxical Outcome. You can return X target, artifacts back to your hand for essentially blue and draw cards for all of them. Going back over that, I don't think I have enough artifacts to make that worth it, but it could be interesting. That could be interesting. Your Interlude is protect all your creatures for a white. That's going to be good because it targets them. Ghostly Flicker is blink 2 creatures for a blue. That's pretty good. Displace is the same thing. Flicker of Fate is white. Flicker a card. Fury's Time Twist is blue. Flicker a card. And Essence Flux is just that. Blue. Blink a card. All right. How do you feel about that right there? We just spent an hour going through cards. And that's the fun part about it. I enjoyed that. I cut enough. I cut something there. I kind of had an idea that it was going to go. So I'm just going to go right off the bat. There's Hinata. We'll get that off to the side. I think we'll go CMC and see what the curve is kind of looking like and see what the big hitters are and what not. Oh, I think my 2. So 2s, 3s, 2 4s. I'm not going to count the the reductions. That's not worth it when you're starting. All right, 5 is over here, so I think I can probably rearrange this a bit. Toot toot. We're just gonna go through. So, are there any questions at this point? Like, are you kind of like, that makes a ton of sense, or heroic's a dumb idea? I don't know. I've never played with heroic. There isn't a whole ton that's going on. They didn't give it, it's trick central. I'm gonna get rid of Gazeloth. Um, and so I don't know how well that is going to work out, but I think it could be really aggressive and could be decently fun. 3, 5. So 3, 3, 3. And so Wraths, I don't have any indestructible stuff other than Boros Charm. That might be something that I need to think about a bit, because getting Wrathed myself sounds terrible, and that could easily happen. A lot of X spells here. Oh, cut. Cut. Let's get rid of those. Let's make sure we're getting rid of the only destroy creatures thing. Jaya's is gone. And then I don't even know if I have enough like bounce and tapping stuff. Hopefully I do, but like I can't get rid of any of that stuff. It's nice to see you not go the obvious route with the deck. Yeah, I mean, I could. I haven't done I don't have a Wrath deck. And so like sometimes it's just kind of like filling out, like making sure that you don't have a certain deck or playing too many of the certain same cards. And so right now I'm trying to make sure that it's not like Feather. I want to make sure it's not um it's not just burn deck, because like you got to win somehow too. And if all you're doing is burning people out that and dragging the game on, that's kind of annoying. Like if I feel like I'm not able to close the game out, I can add in more wrath effects. Like if I don't have enough tap or bounce, I can definitely add those back in. Because you need to like again, you need to close out the game. You can't just like have it go forever. Um, and so, but that's something that you gotta that comes with tweaking. And first, when you're making the deck, you just make the deck, make it how you want, and then see if it works. It doesn't mean that it has to work, but take the time, make sure that it does, make sure that it doesn't suck for your opponents. That's something that I do. You don't have to, do whatever you want. I'm not your fucking mom. So I don't even know where to put these things. We'll put these in the 5 slot, 4/4. Um, but I like to have a good game. I generally, I don't play combos. I don't tutor too much. I try to really reduce that quite a bit. And I think Spellseeker's the only tutor in this deck, and we'll see if it actually makes it. That's at a 2. That's 3. And there's definitely some cards that I need to look into to make sure they work here. 5, 6, XX. Like Maniform Dragon just doesn't. It's not going to be very good if I can't make huge creatures. It'll be okay, right? But it's not going to be amazing. 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. Let's see here. 2, 4, 2, 1. There's probably more 4. Shit, I'm just gonna cut that. Just cut it. It's not there. I don't want it. And actually I think I'm gonna during your turn spells, I'm gonna cut the at least Unsettled Mariner and Tide Taker. Cutting those at this point. Grand Arbiter and Kazima can stay. Immortal Sun and the basic lands. All right, let's get rid of those. So I stopped looking at those, even though they're gorgeous. How do I feel about spell doubling effects? So in this kind of deck where I'm like bouncing and tapping, I can't tap or bounce multiple times because they're already tapped and or bounced. And also Calamax is one of my favorite decks that doubles tons of spells. And so I would try and avoid spell doubling in this kind of deck for me personally, just because of those two reasons. Um, but fair question. Fair question. I'm more thinking that like bringing X spells back from my graveyard after use and being able to do it again later is going to be necessary because I don't think there's a lot of tapping and bouncing, targeting X spells. Like I think there's a handful, like 5 or 6. Might be enough, might not be. All you got to do is do it once and then you're getting through. But the tapping does make it so that you got to do it more than once. So, okay. Going through this the mana value part of this, Dust Corona, I like it. I want to keep it in there. That's in the wrong spot. I'm terrible at looking at math. Okay. Essence Flux. Um, we'll keep the blinkers in there. Heroic, making a token. I'm fine with that. Is cheap. Strive makes it cheap. Ajani's Presence. This is expensive, but it is a protection card. I'm fine with this. X, Strive. Any number of target creatures can't block this turn. I think that gets cut. I don't think that's because there's no reduction. I don't think it's worth it. Mother of Runes and Giver of Runes. I'm going to keep them for protection for now, but they're just kind of there as like good stuff. That's solid. Always like that. Springleaf Drum as ramp. I'll have to see how much ramp I got, but that might get that one might get gone. All right. Tokens, Impact Tremors. We'll run with that for now. Psychotic Fury. I'm not really, I'm not really a Voltron on this. There's a couple of auras that are solid there because they're both lifelink and being able to. I think we got to get rid of that. Dolmen Gate. I think we keep. I maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Maybe we get rid of Dolmen Gate and maybe that effect because hopefully we're tapping down their stuff and not worrying about like being blocked. Because I think I don't have many counterspell decks or like any, so I wouldn't mind trying to slide in the counters and the blinks. I'm fine with Lord Dracus. That's a one time. What if I blink it? Anybody know what happens when you blink a mutated creature? I don't know. I really don't know mutate very well. I will admit that. Um, maybe Snapcaster Mage probably sticks. Young Pyromancer's always good enough, but it's solid, solid. Leonin Light Scribe, that's a pump. I like that. Next turn, probably worth it. I mean, it's not a blocker, but it can get bigger. That's a pump. Gaining 2 life, but a blocker. We'll probably cut that. It creates a token. Gives all your creatures a pump. Protection. Can be double strike, can be protection, probably protection. Apostle's Blessing is protection. Spellskite is nice. Fumble is return target creature to its owner's hand. Gain control of all auras and equipment that were attached to it. Then attach them to another creature. That's not doing enough, right? Okay. All right. BG's saying that the mutate blinked would come down separate. Okay. I don't know if I would like that then. Oh, I didn't know. So are you, Mr. Reyes, are you saying that, or Corey, are you saying that when you regenerate something with mutate, it separates? I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought that it was just one creature and then just normal regenerate happens. I guess I wouldn't have guessed that. This probably doesn't have enough going on. So I'll probably take that along with stealing. Like people hate that shit. I don't want too much of that here. Shenanigans might be nice, repeatable artifact destruction. So we'll end up seeing what's in there. 2 damage, worth it. Cleansing Fire. I like the card, but I don't think it fits here. I think we cut that. A Braid is nice flexibility, almost as good as Boros Charm. We'll see. Snap probably doesn't do enough. It's a creature, untaps 2 lands, not in here. Blessed Alliance probably does because it's target, 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 target. That's probably pretty cheap. So that can reduce, it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it'd be reduced by 1, 2, 3, 4. And so it'd just be white colorless, do all that stuff. That's pretty sweet. Bait Fire could still work. Sort of the Animist works. Um, it seems like there's some contention on mutate and regenerate. So if you're unsure on that and you're listening to this later on or whatever, probably check that out because I think I don't play with mutate a whole ton, so I don't know much on that. Um, but the regeneration part doesn't matter here. It's blinking. That makes sense that it comes down separate. And that part I wouldn't like or care about. Ornithopter of Paradise. That's a creature, but being able to pump it, like having those heroic creatures that pump a lot, I think I like that. Dockside is nice. The signets. Um, let's get rid of the signets off the bat. We can always add those in, but just trying to make sure that we have the proper amount. I like talismans, like I said earlier. So blinking is a thing. Copying with Orvar is a thing. So let's see if that'll make it in here. That's basically a secondary Hinata. Totally works. Brawl with the counter spells works. If I start cutting the counter spells, I'll cut Brawl as well. Burning Prophet. Did I cut that gain 2 life one? If I didn't, that'll be its replacement. Idol of Oblivion makes sense. Drawing cards. Sway of Illusion, just get rid of that. Get rid of that. It's not doing anything actually within this. Did I get rid of the gaining 2 life thing? I did. I'm going to get rid of Lord Drakus just so we don't have to talk about it. I'll just pin it up on my wall. Oh, you know what I did? I already talked about getting rid of that surround damage stuff. So I'm going to get rid of Impact Tremor and Perforos when I get there. So I already talked about getting rid of that. I think those can all kind of go together and be cut together. All right. Okay, so we're getting a consensus that mutate does not separate at regeneration. That's what we're hearing at this point. All right, so counterspell, aura. I like that. I like the blink. Maybe I'm doing too much. This is also a longer blink. Savine's Reclamation. I'm kind of spell based, so maybe that doesn't matter a whole ton. We'll probably cut that. Returning back. Mavinda's probably on the short list right now. I got to think about that and see if it works. Token creation. Call the Copper Coats is super cool. Monastery Mentor works. Annex and Cymede is pumps. Fabled Hero is double striking. I don't and there are the pumps in there too. So like that feels strong enough. What do you guys feel about like Fabled Hero? Getting the pumps from the other heroic creatures and the other counters on this, I think is probably good enough to keep. That's a tapper. Works for me. Pump, and a creature. I'm not 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I'm not sure how many there are. I'm sure there's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. That seems fine so far. You see Dockside and you're like, "Oh, I can reanimate that. That might not be too bad." Drawing a card, tapping, indestructible. This was something I'm not worried about anymore now that I was thinking about it. So hopefully everything's tapped down. The I probably need to get propaganda and ghostly prison in here as well, just to stop that crackback. That's probably something I need in here. So we'll keep that for now. We'll have to look at our protection again. Could be good, but indestructible. Hinata is going to be really important in this deck, so need to make sure that it sticks around. We'll have to look at how much artifact and enchantment removal. The cycling is kind of nice, but probably not necessary. I don't know how much exile is important. Removal. This is stealing. Gain control of. I think I'm going to cut that just because of the stealing. Could be interesting though. The escalate is really nice. I think right off the bat, I'm just going to get rid of Decoy Gambit. I don't think that's good enough. If I was doubling it, like in Calimax that I have, um, that could be worth it. But Decoy Gambit, I don't think that's good enough. Wrong turn. Nah, we'll cut that. Cloud Chaser Kestrel. I still like that so far. Getting lands in the hand is good. Jessica's Will is going to be hard to cut. Chromatic Lantern's going to be nice. Verge Rangers. Look at the top card of your library anytime. As long as an opponent controls more lands than you may play lands from the top of your library. Might work, might not. Like I got a couple of those ETB, Solemn, and they're all in the 4 spot though. But Verity Circle so far is going to be good. Mentor the Meek and Welcoming Vampire might be worth it, but that might be too specific. So we'll keep them for now. Spellseeker seems fine. Feathers seems like something that I really want to do. All right. All right. Kazmina protects my guy, creates a token, gets a little bit of draw discard going. Is that still worth it? Got a lot of cuts to go, and I'm thinking about it. I should just cut it. Still want Grand Arbiter around, cutting Perforos, like I was saying. We're going to get rid of Loyal Unicorn and Audric, Bubble Matrix, all of these like combat prevention stuff. Like I'm hoping that I just am controlling the board enough that I don't need to worry about that attack stuff. This might still be worth it. Like if I'm just returning 3 artifacts on somebody's turn to save them for a blue and then I draw 3 cards, that's pretty powerful. Got to replay those artifacts, but that seems pretty powerful to me. Illusionist, that's a blink. That is Archaeomancer, which is worth it. Reconstruct History is probably enough. God Eternal Kefnet makes sense. Orvar, I want that in here. I want it in here. That it can double your team with the tappers and stuff like that. Yeah. I can agree with Wear and Tear not being as good as the 4 mana uh, mana value one. Crush the Contraband and Return to Dust. So, and I got some other X spells that are dealing with enchantments and artifacts as well. So, we'll just have to see how many of those cards are there, and we'll just cut from there. Mana Form Hellkite, I think that's going to be dope. Token Maker. I don't know what's going to be more important is just like having a creature come down and creating a flood of them, or just incremental bunch of tokens everywhere. So right now I have both of them in here. They're not necessarily on theme, but if I'm copying them or blinking them or whatever, um, that could be nice. So Hero Bladehold, Leonin War Leader, Springjack Shepherd. Like the O1s don't matter because I have those pump heroic spells in here. And so at this point, like the O1s are fine. Noin Procession makes sense. Token Maker. Zaphi. Is this when you cast a spell of 10 or more, does all of this happen or just the higher one? I'm not gonna reread it all the way through because that's a lot. But if anybody knows, just say it in the chat there. Keeping the chord, I think that's just gonna go. I can cut that at this point. Murmuring Mystic is one of that incremental, but it's at 4. And so we'll have to that's probably too expensive. 2 damage to target creature or player. That's probably not enough. That's not good, right? It probably was good in standard or limited or something, but that's not good. Major Pump, fine with that. That's another thing of stealing. I'll probably, like I said, I'll keep that down low. Niblis of the Frost is tapping. I'm cool with that. You may choose 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. If white blue was spent to cast a spell until your next turn, those permanents can't attack or block, and their activated ability. I don't want to pay the white blue, so am I just? We can cut that. That's not doing enough. Return target spell to or creature to its owner's hand, and then 2 damage divided to target creature or planeswalker. 2 damage to target if that permanent would be put in a graveyard, exile it instead. Brutal Expulsion. That's a red blue to bounce a spell and 2 damage to a creature. That's probably not enough, especially with what I have going on here. Fiery Confluence might be good enough. 2 damage to each opponent. That's surround damage, which I'm half avoiding right now. 1 damage to each creature, which would just decimate me. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. Return to Dust. I like that. Crush the Contraband, like you were saying. BG. We'll keep that. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, BG is kind of agreeing there. So I think we have a consensus at this point. Like if I'm targeting a bunch of spells with an X spell, the mana value is X plus whatever is shown on the card. Not necessarily what you're casting. So Mana Form Dragon, all those cards are going to be huge. Metallurgic Summonings, those tokens are going to be big. And so, yeah, that makes a ton of sense and going to work. All right. Solemn stays. Stoic Farmer stays. Core Cartographer stays for now. Stormkiln Artist makes sense to me. Whirlwind of Thought. I think that's probably too hard to cast along with like I think I cut it. I think I have a really strong mix of like creatures like was that non-creature spell. I think I have a lot of creatures so far. I might go back if I'm just like slinging spells. Deep Analysis makes sense. Archmage Emeritus makes sense to me. So doing well. The cuts are looking good to me. Spellback makes sense to me. I need to get a second copy of Lear from Midnight Hunt. Lear is so fucking good. It's so good, people. Oh man, but that doesn't allow me to counter spells? Maybe. But I still like Backdraft Hellkite here. Riona, let's actually read that one. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create X tokens where tokens that are copies of another target creature you control, where X is 1 plus the number of instants and or sorcery spells that you've cast this turn. They gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of their next step. Fire Dancer does not have to be attacking. It just makes the tokens. That could be interesting. I still like that. So far. Some of the Legions, a ton of tokens. Dika's a ton of huge tokens. Docent making tokens at 5. I don't have a wizard theme, so that flip side doesn't do a whole ton for me. I think Docent at 5 is too expensive. Twin Flame is making copies. I'm cool with that. And then this is just turning creatures into something else. But if I have a bunch of tokens, I don't know. I actually think I like this better than Twin Flame, but they're both interesting. Summonings is going to be huge. That is a token plop, 5 to make 2 tokens ETB, but the pumps are nice. Create a number of 2/2 white creature tokens with vigilance equal to the number of opponents you've attacked this turn. Oh, that last bit is a little too much. Probably 3/4 flying lifelink creates 2/2 white tokens with vigilance. We're gonna cut Divine Visitation because I can create some pretty big tokens already anyway. Gain control. I'm gonna keep this because it is on theme. It's heroic. I'm gonna keep that one. I want that one. Token and a pump. We'll keep that. Stealing. I'll also keep this one just because it can end games. Just stealing everybody's creatures. That seems good to me. This is bounce for blue. This is probably bounce for blue. That's bounce. More bounce. Gold span's good. Um, can I get a hell yeah that extra turns just suck? I already have the heroic one in there, which probably won't go off too often. Um, I think I'd probably rather want extra combats rather than extra turns. Just all I need is one like and tell me that extra turns suck. But I want to play Feather. He's saying that Whirlwind seems better than Feather. I like Feather. Feather's like one of my favorite commanders. But you might be right. But neither of them might be good anyway. So um I'm gonna cut Time Warp for now. Unless somebody and the other extra turn spells. But there's something that you could do if you want. This spell cost, this would be a blue and a colorless for a 3/3 prowess with scry 2 and ETBs. I have blinking, I have potential copies. This still seems pretty good. Decent threat. You know, it'd be a 4/4, 5/5. With the prowess part. Might be okay still. Might be okay. Um okay, so hell yeah. Um Time warp and stuff like that should not be played. I still like this as just like a catch-all, do a bunch of stuff, but it might be too expensive. Embercleave, like I said, I'm not really Voltron. I still want to keep it because I have the token aspect going on. Charmbreaker Devils, probably too expensive, but we'll keep it. Evangel of Heliod. I got the 5 mana version of this. Let's cut the 6 mana version of that. Shark Typhoon creates some huge tokens. I like that. Sahili's Artistry, create a token that's a copy of target artifact, and a creature. For 4, that's probably not worth it. I'll cut that. Morog, I'll keep around. I don't know if this is exactly the extra combat steps that I want to be doing. If I do it, but I want to keep it in there just to like remind me that that's something that I might want to do. Indestructible for my attacking creatures. I think I'd rather have just creatures that are like instants that allow me to do indestructible instead of the attacking part just to protect. Sublime Epiphany is in. Dragon's Descent is in. Sunbirds Invocation is going to be crazy. I might be still worth Karin's Temporal Sundering at this point. And I don't know how my hand's going to look, but it's probably not worth 5 mana. I'll cut that. It's a lot of mana right there to cast and play with. All right. Free return stuff is sweet, 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 sweet. Outmaneuver. I don't know if I like that one. X target blocked creatures deal combat damage to defending player instead of I don't think that's going to work out like I want. All right. Not a fan of extra turns. I always feel douchey and rush myself through. Yeah, that's also a really good point, Corey. Like I also rush through my turn. You're not playing a good turn. You're delaying the game pretty much. And extra combats are kind of like an extra turn. I kind of feel, like it feels less douchey. It still kind of feels douchey, but with not a ton of bounce and removal or tapping tapping is like soft removal. Like they get a crackback at you. Um, so if I'm able to attack 2 times when I have everything tapped, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna cut out maneuver. I don't think that's good enough. Open into Wonder makes a ton of sense. I already have a couple of steel effects, so I'm gonna get rid of Blatant Thievery. I don't want too much, like I was saying. Divergent Transformation. This is it's 2 creatures. Uh, Not quite as good as like Chaos Warp or anything. At the top of the libraries until they reveal a creature card. Put that card on the battlefield, then shuffle the rest into his or her library. Ooh. Uh, Recurring is good if you have a couple of pieces of free interaction. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, BG. This going after creatures, I still like it at this point. Like, doesn't seem too bad. Magma Opus is in, March of Swirling, Icy Blast, Reality Spasm, Selective Snare. All right, let's put that on the back. Heliod's Intervention, Disorder on the Court, Aurelia's Fury, Glimpse, Gridlock, By Force, Distortion Wake, Beacon of the Tomorrows is cut, extra turns. Okay, let's read. I think this is probably too expensive. I still really like the card, but I have that in Calamax. Doubling this is crazy good, and it's just a really good card. But I don't need that, so we're gonna cut that in this point. All right. Garrett's Belligerence deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures. Whenever a creature dealt damage this way dies this turn, populate. So it is damaging. Yeah. All right. We'll get rid of it. That's one that I might be willing to add back in later on. Look at all these goddamn cuts so far. Look at this. Just moving through. I appreciate that. All right. That's still a lot of X spells to have and choose from. It's doing some cool stuff. It's going to be weird. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm looking. Yeah. Extra combat, totally acceptable. I appreciate that as well. I need validation. All right. But yeah, it's just kind of like trying to end the game a bit quicker. We still have a fucking stack here though, people. Holy moly. We're still doing good. I'm still happy. I don't know. All right. So the next bit that we should probably look at is card type piles. We can do that. We've done where they're at, and now we need where they're going. So artifact, artifact, artifact. Creatures. Let's see here. Creature, artifact, instant, sorcery, creature, instant. Actually, we can do creatures over here. There. Creature, artifact, creature. There we go. And so I kind of do this just to make sure that I'm not getting too lopsided, or I can be too lopsided. It just depends. Like I'm not worried about how many creatures I have because I'm not running a ton of board wipes. I would like, instant speed interaction is good to see, or protection, and that's all good and important to see. So I want to make sure that I'm doing that. A bunch of creatures, instant speeds. And so I'm definitely okay with this being like an instant speed deck. We'll have to see how many creatures under 2 power are coming into play on a consistent basis. I might just cut those, but I need to see where it actually ends up. Creature, sorcery, instant, creature, artifact. Whoop. Shit's spinning. And so next time I'll probably be looking into extra combats, adding those into the stack. I'm going to try and be done in about a half hour just to give people a warning. Try and be done around 2 hours total, just to respect y'all's time, and then I'll have time to pick up stuff and look at it. All right. One planeswalker. That probably won't be worth running. Creature. Instant aura. There we go. I got a lot more creatures than I anticipated. So I might not truly worry about like that incremental token making, other than like the big ones. Creature instant. All right. Yeah, that's already creatures right there. That's plenty. Everything else is looking down there. So I know I need to probably go through and check out the creature usage and cut that down quite a bit. I still want to try and make sure that heroic is strong enough in this. Creature. Yeah. I definitely have a lot of like creatures and token makers and stuff like that. And so can probably really cut down on that. Enchantment, sorcery, instant. I think with the I think I'm gonna have enough bounce in here. That'll be good. Sorcery, instant, sorcery. All right. Bunch of instants came into play there at the end. So we have a lot of creatures. So we'll save that until the end. Did I miss anything? Comment totally acceptable. Okay. All right. So enchantments, I like Shark Typhoon. Sunbird's going to be huge. Assemble Legion gets some. It takes time to get going. I like the haste on it, but I think with as many cards as I have going on, we're going to cut this. Huge tokens, bouncing, doubling. I like both these just because of the life link and giving Hinata a little pump. Variety is going to draw me a ton of cards. Dust Corona is still unblockability on Hinata, and Braid of Fire is still kind of a backup for just like creating a ton of mana. Because that's what Hinata does, is creates a ton of mana. I think Immortal Sun is too expensive. Am I going to regret saying that? I've never used it. I kind of want to use it. But once Hinata's out, the reduction hardly matters. Embercleave, that's again another card I've never really played with. Veilstone Amulet, I think I'm good cutting that. I'm going to keep Thunderstaff just to make sure that I add in that protection. Arceo's Map, that makes sense at this point. Lantern makes sense. Greaves, Boots, Livewire, Lash makes sense to me as well. Ramp. Sword of the Animus gets really good if I add in the extra attacks. I should probably go find my extra Sword of Hearth and Home too. Like whenever I do Hearth and Home, I want Animist or vice versa. I should probably go get that as well. Talisman. Draw. That makes sense to me. Draw. We'll see. I need to look at my bumps again, or how many we're at. Okay, good. Where we at? Release the gremlins. That's artifacts. Okay. I'm gonna set aside my artifact and enchantment removal just to make sure. I'll do that next time. I'll get that when I'm creating piles. So I still like this. I like that. X spells I just want to kind of keep. How much do you think the creature type is going to come into play? Like, or am I only going to hit a few of them? What do you guys think about selective snare there? Return X target creatures of the creature type of your choice to their owner's hand. Seems like it's not going to hit a whole ton, but I'm open to suggestions. By Force makes sense. Distortion Wake, Descent of the Dragon, Karn's Temporal Sundering. That's an extra turn, but that's a bounce, and that makes sense to me at this point. Making copies, bouncing, bouncing, reconstruct history. I would have artifact, or I would have instants and sorceries. I wouldn't have a planeswalker. I don't have any artifacts going on purpose, and I don't have a maybe still worth it for now, but that's I okay. If you're wondering if you should keep it, you should cut it. I like it. I like it. Jessica's will is maybe just good, like in a general sense, but it doesn't really work here. Um, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it again. Oh my goodness. All right. Shenanigans makes sense to me at this point. Launch the fleet. Shenanigans is probably gonna get cut, but I want to look and make sure. We'll keep that around. I want to make sure that I have enough removal on that kind of stuff since I don't have a lot of creature removal. All right. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Tap, tap. Good, good. We'll run through all that. That all makes sense to me. Polymorph. Choose a creature on the battlefield. Any number of target creatures you control each become a copy of that creature until end of turn. So that could be opponent's creatures, your creatures, whatever. That could be pretty sweet. That could be worth it. That could still be cool. All right, that's bounce. That's drawing, blank, removal, removal, bounce, bounce, protection, whirlwind denial is counterspell, counterspell, tokens, forsake the worldly, and wear and tear. Both these might just get cut, but we'll do the comparison at this point. Blink, blink, counter, 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 counter. Trick Mind probably won't be good enough. Boros Charm makes sense. Apostle's Blessing is. I'll probably go with the blinking, kind of doing that thing, just being able to like blink, get rid of the spot removal. Artifact. This is there for artifact. Abrade is. Blessed Alliance makes sense. Essence Flux and Ajani's Presence. Would this Ajani's Presence is probably just worse than something that says like 3 mana, all your creatures gain indestructible, and like +1/+0, or there's a couple of cards that kind of do that kind of thing. But since it's targets, am I thinking that's good enough with all my heroic cards? So that's a question. That's a question. I'm just gonna cut Saheeli right off the bat. I don't want to worry about the Planeswalker. It's not. I think it doesn't make a big creature. Copy target artifact you control becomes a copy of another target. That ability doesn't make a whole ton of sense. That's a cut for me. Um. Oh yeah, Polymorphous Rush. Yeah. Yep. I agree. It should be cool. Um. For now, I'm going to cut both of these. I think they're probably just not good enough. All right. Getting into the stack of creatures, which is essentially equal to artifacts, enchantments, instants, and sorceries. So I can be really aggressive here. It's pretty obvious to show that I have too many creatures here. And we'll just have to see. Let's go through and see the ones that I just like I want. So um that makes sense. I want to try and force this heroic idea. Goldspan makes it in because it's heroic. Orvar makes it in. Monoform Hellkite. Nibblus of the Frost. Heroic. A Storm. That makes it. Annex. Heroic. Heroic. Token making. Heroic. What feather? Heroic. That's in there easily. Battlefield. That has heroic. Heroic. I'm gonna get rid of the ruins. We'll cut those right off the bat. Okay, so that for now is all the cards with like heroic or like definitely want in. We'll keep Malrog for now, just for that idea of extra combats. I think I'm going to get rid of a lot of the. Okay, let's kind of break this up into ideas. So that's graveyard recursion. That's a token. Graveyard, graveyard, graveyard. This is ETB token. This is kind of like, this is going to hit like other ETBs if I want. That just plops creatures down. That's mana. It's kind of mana and double recursion. This is incremental tokens. I don't even know what the fuck to do with that. Incremental tokens. Plop that down. Incremental tokens. For now, we'll do land. I want to make sure that, or we'll keep the lands. Well, the one stuff coming. This is attack. Incremental. Yeah. Incremental. This is removal, protection. Done. Doesn't matter. That's draw. Draw. I mean, these two probably work because I have the tokens coming into play. So I'll probably just keep those. Draw is important. Spell Seeker, I'm okay with. Okay, that's incremental. Graveyard, lose protection. Ramp, ramp, ramp. Scry. All right. I'm not going to terribly worry about these right now. All right. We're going to say that these are kind of ploppers. Let's look at these. Like if I'm looking between this and that, I'm going to get more creatures out of that. That pump is kind of nice. Let's see here. Springjack Shepherd makes a ton of sense. I think Rayon. I like the idea of Rayon. I wish it wasn't 5, but 4. Master of Waves. Like it dies, you lose all your tokens. But I'm having I don't have many Anthem effects in there. They're all +1/+0. So what is better here? A bunch of 1/1s or a bunch of 0/1s for 1 mana extra? I'm going to probably say Reverent Hoplite makes a ton of sense for me. I think this one's fun. I have Master Waves in another deck. Angel of Invention might still be worth it. I'm fine with that for now. So we'll cut those two, the 4 mana ones. And they're probably pretty good. But we'll keep those. Probably not enough ploppers. Incremental. Where are we here? 4. Okay, so right now I like Young Pyromancer and Monastery Mentor because they're just cheap. They're easy to get down. They're easy to have blockers. Equal to the number of creatures you control. Whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. Like, I don't think I have a problem with that. So I like Adeline and Hero of Bladehold because Bladehold gives that pump. This creates the tokens and it can get really big. War Leader is just the tokens. I'm willing to cut that. Mermaid Mystic is not as good as Talrand. I don't think I have a lot of spirits and it's harder to cast. And so I'm cool with Talrand at this point. And we'll cut those 2 or 3. All right. Graveyard Shenanigans. I think Snapcaster Mage is going to be really good. Archaeomancer. Mnemonic Wall. I like. This is always so conditional when you like for attacking, but that. I haven't played Charmbreaker Devils in a long time. So long. Is it Chronarch is always it's just a 2/2 for 5. That's always so brutal. 1/2 for 4 is just better. And the art. Um all right, all right. Let's see here. Backdraft Hellkite. Mavinda. We'll keep that around. I think that's really good, but I'm not 100%. If I can get another Lear, I'll probably put that back in the stack because that's good. Probably cut. I might still take Charmbreaker Devils at this point. We'll cut those 3. All right, and then we'll give a thumb through these. Okay. You may reveal the first card you draw each turn as you draw it. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, copy that card and you may copy the spell. It costs 2 less to cast. I think that's gone. I'd rather just have a draw spell at this point. I like that. Stormwing Entity, probably just like too generic. Burning Prophet seems worth it for the Scry. We still have the counter spells, but those might end up going away here soon. Knight of the White Orchid, Ornithopter, Spellskite, Spellseeker, Verge Rangers, Zephi, Bastion Protector for the Indestructible on and Hinata, and then Cloud Chaser Kestrel. Oh, that one. That one probably doesn't do anything. We'll cut that. We'll cut the Kestrel. Okay. Last bunch of the night, I'm going to just put them into their categories of what they're doing. Protection, removal, doing whatever it needs to do. This is just kind of like 10 damage. This is Token Maker. We'll say that. Say that's ramp, protection. I consider Tutor's card advantage. That's ramp. Scry is also just a simple like card advantage. Ramp. Graveyard Recursion is also card advantage. Boom. Tokens. Token. Kind of have some of these in order. Draw. Ramp. I don't know where to. It's token. And that is draw. That's ramp. Token. I put I guess this does have a pump on it too. So that'll be a pumps. That's something random. Pump. Card advantage. This is tapping, so technically removal. It's soft. This doesn't do anything. We'll put that there. All right. Tap. This is a token and a pump. Recursion. Draw. Pump. Ramp. Draw. Pump. Tap. Token. Say token. That is technically ramp. Stealing is something. We'll say this is pump. Stealing is a type of removal. Tokens are big. All right. And then let's see here. Blink. Okay, this is what the fuck is this? We'll call that removal. Blink. These are removals or protections. It could be whatever it needs to be. Tokens. Call it blink. All right. Removals. That's probably draw. Not sure what doing that. All right. Tokens. Removal. This is kind of removal, kind of draw. I don't know what the fuck that is. We'll call it draw. For now. That's draw. That's removal. Recursion. Draw. Removal. That's just more on my stuff. Let's return. Tokens. Removal. Mana. Kind of protection. Let's draw. Pumps. Token. Removal. Token. Card advantage. Manas. All right. Doot. Mana, protection, and then that's... Ugh. All right. Probably fine with this. I'll probably end up cutting these two, but I'm going to keep them for now. Do I like these randoms? I don't know. Heroics and all that kind of stuff. Fine with that. These are the pumps. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That seems like it could do some work. We'll see where that goes. All right. So I think with the token theme and everything, I'm going to get rid of... I like Embercleave. God damn it. All right. Thunderstaff. I like Scourge and Steel of the Godhead. I like them both, but I think we could probably cut Scourge over Steel of Godhead. That's just good stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Probably worth it. Probably not. That wasn't helpful, was it? All right. Tons of token makers. We'll have to see if there's anything that we can cut in here. Maniform Hydra, Vanguard Brimaz, Adeline. That one's nice and cheap, though. Man, is that an undercasted card, isn't it? Hero Bladehold, Young Pyromancer, Monastery Mentor makes sense to me. I think Talrand gets cut here. Like those. I mean, this one seems fun, but I don't know how many cards I'm actually going to be casting. Maybe this is just better in Feather. Maybe I'll try and get this over in Feather. Angel of Invention probably isn't needed. But that's a plop down of a ton of tokens. Sapphire could do a lot of work. Okay, what does it do? All right, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. If that spell's mana value is 5 or greater, create a 4/4. And if that spell's mana value is 10 or greater, Sapphire deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen at random. So, yeah, I think that can get some work done as well. Ooh. Bunch of stuff here. All right. Livewire Lash. I think that's going to end up getting cut. I think that's cut. Too bad. Cowardice. Aether Gale makes sense. Brawl's Expertise. Distortion Wake by Force. Oh, okay. So I want to deal with how many artifacts and enchantment. That's good. Tap. Artifact and enchantment. I wouldn't mind seeing how many counter spells I have as well. Stealing everything. That makes sense. Boom. Okay. Let's just go through here, and that's why tapping is bad, because there's a lot of that stuff here, and it's just... I'm just gonna die from it. Oh, rough. It's gonna be rough. We'll see there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's plenty of counter spells. I'll probably end up cutting a mix of those. Okay. This looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So by force makes it. Heliod's Intervention makes it. I think Crush and Return to Dust make it. I like the tokens being made from Release of the Gremlins. And then these, How many enchantment-based ones are we doing? So 1, 2, 3 can hit enchantments. Artifact, artifact. So I think this one's gone. Oh, Abrade is gone. Because I think I'd rather just play shenanigans. And then if I don't need anything to hit Forsake the Worldly, and then I can cycle it away if I don't need to get rid of the enchantments. That makes sense to me. All right. Last 2 stacks. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's plenty of, draw, recursion, all that kind of stuff. So tokens make sense. Sensei's Sunbirds is going to do some work. Verity Circle. Return to the Ranks. That's something that I don't know. Dance of the Dead. Depends. I don't know. I like that. I like that. That's more removal anyway. That can be drawing. I like it. I like it. Recursion. That's something that matters. Feather. Draw. Again, I need to check on my my creatures, but that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm gonna need to check on that. Charmbreaker Devils. It's too expensive. It's just too fucking expensive. Burning Prophet and Spellseeker makes sense. We'll keep these for now, but that'll be something that I check out before next week. All right, ramp cards. Anything bad in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we have dealing with land, map, sword. Like, does that mean search your library for a basic plains card and reveal it? If an opponent controls more lands than you, put it into the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. All right. Cut being conditional. Core Cartographers in. Verge Rangers, I think, is done. We'll cut that. All those qualifiers that white has to do, we will cut. All right. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get Hearth and Home in here, I think. Map makes sense to me. Lantern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Springleaf Drum. I'll have to look at my curve as well. Braid of Fire probably doesn't make sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Anybody out there hate Braid of Fire in here? It probably just seems really slow. But it could be something. Goldspan makes sense. Stormkill. Dockside. Battlefield. Brawl. Ornithopter Paradise. And Night of the White Orchid. Night makes sense. I'm fine with that there at this point. All right. Well, I still have a ton of cards. That's what the deck looks like right now. But it's not too bad because we cut that much. So we probably cut half the cards that we were looking at right there. I'm going to start calling it a night. I appreciate everybody coming out, hanging out. It was a lot of fun there for a bit. I will hop on again probably next week. But again, CommanderSmith's podcast. Check out everything that we kind of do. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.